godlike? Because all that happened is, you became more conscious. And the significance of being human is that we can be conscious. See, if you look at the nature and activity of your life, you're not very different from other creatures on this planet. They are born, you're born, they eat, you grow up, they grow up, you sleep, they sleep, you reproduce, they reproduce, you die, they die. It's just that they do it more gracefully, you do it with lot of fuss. So, your activity and the life that you do is not very different from other creatures. Only thing is, we can do the same things consciously. That's all the big thing about us, isn't it? Hello?
Yes.
That is all the big thing about us. We can eat, sleep, reproduce and even die consciously. This is the big dimension of being human. So if you do not exercise this one thing, it is an evolutionary problem. You're going backwards in evolution. The life is striving to go forward. This is not your or my intention. Life is naturally striving to move forward. When you were a monkey, I'm sorry, this is not my statement. Charles, that Englishman, you know.
Yes.
Charles Darwin said this, when you were a monkey, you did not desire to become a human being. But the life within you is longing to move on to the next possibility. Out of that, we are a consequence. Hello? So the consequence is not of physical super capabilities as Hollywood movies are trying to show. Essentially, the consequence is we are more conscious. Because physically, if you become, let's say, far more capable than a chimpanzee or far more capable than a cheetah or a panther or something, you would just be a super animal. You became human only because you became more conscious than other creatures. If you do not exercise that consciously all the time, you will fall back in no time.
Thank you. So now we have a question from Nilufar Bawa, former employee of the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria. What is the future of our planet? We are running out of water. The glaciers are melting. What happens when we run out of water? Will mankind and life go extinct on Earth?
We are not running out of water. Million years ago, how much water was there on this planet? Still the same amount of water is here. Only if some men go off to Mars, they will take some water and go.
Yes.
Otherwise, the same amount of water is here, it's not gone anywhere. It's not where you want it. That is something that you need to look at. Why is it? Why is water going away from human habitations? Why is it lodging itself somewhere else? Obviously, we are not living the way we should live. Very simple. Hello? We always went in pursuit of water. Where there was a river, civilizations developed. But now water is trying to move away from us. We must be doing something fundamentally wrong. Hello? Isn't it? We are doing something very fundamentally wrong in the way we are organizing human habitations. We need to look at this seriously now, very important. Otherwise, you have to go and live under the ocean, because that's the only place there will be water.
Thank you. So I stay on water, and this one comes from Sasang Pai, a cognizant. I came to know the Isha Foundation through Rally for Rivers. Please could you enlighten us on the possibility in progress and how we can contribute?
I think they showed something on the video about Rally for Rivers. We made a 760-page policy recommendation as to how Indian rivers should be managed. Because on an average, all Indian rivers on an average have depleted about 40% in the last 70 years. Some rivers have receded over 60 to 70%, major rivers. We must understand this, the European rivers are of a different nature and Indian rivers are of a completely different nature. Here largely the precipitation comes in the form of rain and also snow. And glacial water is probably the main source. I believe about 55 to 60% of European rivers are coming from glacial waters. In India, only 4% of river water is glacial, rest of it is forest-fed. River is not the source of water in a tropical land. River is a destination into which the water comes. The only source of water we have is monsoon. And this monsoon pours down in 45 to 50 days in a year. What comes down in 50 days? All in the form of water, not in the form of snow. Because snow will pile up and stay for 2 months and slowly melt and trickle into the land. That is not how monsoons come. Monsoons come like a torrent of water, all liquid. So how do we hold it? We were holding it because there was substantial vegetation everywhere. So vegetation and the richness of the soil held it and slowly let it go in the form of streams and rivulets which all joined together and became a river. But we have removed green cover in such a way, if you have flown over India, if you fly from Delhi to Chennai or Bangalore, if every 5 minutes you look down, it looks like one brown desert except for the Western Ghats and a few patches here and there, rest is all farmed totally. Because there is no vegetation and there is no richness in the soil, we are not able to hold the water. When the rains come, there is flood, otherwise there is drought. At the same time, at the upper regions of the river, there is flood, the lower regions of the river, there is drought at the same time, at a given time. This phenomena is happening mainly because of removal of vegetation. To what extent? Means you must understand this. For example, Ganga Basin, where it accounts for 25% of India's geography, 33% of India's agriculture, we have removed 92% of green cover in the last 60 years. What's the plan? So Rally for Rivers mainly is pushing towards putting back at least 1/3 of the green cover back on the Indian subcontinent. So right now, as a sample of that, we are doing one short river which is 54 kilometers, which unfortunately became notorious as the suicide capital of India, which is called as Yavatmal in Maharashtra, where maximum number of suicides happen. Almost every third family we meet has had a suicide in their families. So we have taken this up hands-on project, where recently the cabinet approvals have happened and we are working on the ground. Our volunteers are meeting every family, 9,600 families in the Yavatmal region are being contacted and given a cell phone number. In case of any distress, they can get back to us. The fundamental is to change them from regular farming where there is no scale. They're just scratching land which is 2 acres, 3 acres per family. They cannot invest enough in a 2-acre land. If they invest, they become debt-ridden and drives them towards suicide. So we are seeing how to make them an integrated way of approach and also towards agroforestry, which will revive the river. A larger project that's coming up, which all of you can participate in whatever way you can, because we need a big push for this, is called Kaveri Calling. Kaveri is a river which flows mainly between two southern states, Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. These two states have been at war with each other as to who should drink more Kaveri water. See, if there were 2 glasses of water for both of us, we will drink our water and be nice to each other. Suppose there's only 1 glass of water between the two of us, we're nice people but we'll fight. Yes or no?
Probably. But
Yes,
I'm sure you won't.
No, if there's no water, I will also fight. I'm saying, people will fight, isn't it? Because of scarcity, people will fight. Even nice people will unnecessarily clash with each other. This is what has been happening. Here we have removed 87% of the green cover. Kaveri is very dear to me because I grew up around this river. Once I floated down this river for 13 days on just 4 truck tubes and a few bamboos. I lived off the river. In my experience, I never saw this river and fantastic forest that was around as natural resource. I always experienced this as a life larger than myself. It's a much bigger life than you and me. And it has been there before you and me, and it should be there after you and me. But right now we brought it to a place where it may not be there. What's been there for 1,000,000 years may not be there for the next generation. We're bringing it to that place. Right now the scientific studies show Kaveri has depleted 46%, but I don't agree with this because they are taking the monsoon flow also as the volume of water. If you leave the monsoon flow, if you just go and see the river after October, in my eyes, it seems like it's 25 to 30% of what it was when I was a child, around that place. So it's depleted so sharply, it's been troubling me. So now we are doing this. This is a rally of a different kind. The rally for rivers was purely an awareness, because river is a concurrent subject in India between the central government and the state government. We wanted